Hey guys, I thought I'd just make a quick video going over today's Nintendo Direct Portal Showcase, some of my thoughts on it, and some of the reveals, and all that stuff, you know, like people do. Fun fact, I watched this on the subway, so my stream kept freezing. Anyway, Orbitals. This game looks really interesting. It has a really fucking cool art style, and it's a Switch 2 exclusive. This was a pretty big reveal, in my opinion, to start off with. Not necessarily that it is big, because it is just, you know, a new IP, new series, but it seems like it's, you know, if it stays Switch 2 exclusive, it could really be a big game for the system. And it's game share compatible, and it's another one of those many, like, two-person co-op games like It Takes Two or Split Fiction, which, you know, I think that I haven't really played those, but I've heard really good things. It's a fun concept. And it has just one of the most beautiful art styles I've ever seen for a game. Like, it really looks ripped straight out of a 90s cartoon or anime. Like, it really has a strong Ghibli aesthetic. I think this game looks great, honestly. I'm excited for Orbitals. We then moved into Switch 1 games, which, you know, are games that will be playable on Switch 2, but are not being built for Switch 2. And it started with this introduction by this visual novel character, and I was really hoping at this point that it might be like a Phoenix Wright or Professor Layton. It was neither of those. It was Paranormosite, the Mermaid's Curse. Now, judging by the language used in this direct and I feel like I might have heard of the series before, I think this is a new entry in a series, which is great for the fans of the series. I've never heard of it personally, and it doesn't super look like my jam. You know, it seems like kind of basic visual novels with maybe a little bit more gameplay, where you're like looking through things, looking at your surroundings. For the people who are into this game, I'm very glad that they're getting a new one, but this is one that I don't think is for me. But yeah, a brand new Paranormosite, The Mermaid's Curse. Check it out, maybe, if you seem interested. That then led directly into Captain Tsubasa 2, and this game looks awesome. I don't know if I'm necessarily gonna play it, because it is just a soccer game, it seems like, but this game seems like such a fun take on the sports genre. It seems like it's maybe everything Mario Strikers Supercharged should have been, which is like, where to shit on Nintendo on their own turf. It looks really fun. It seems really visually interesting, which makes me kind of sad that it's not going to be on Switch 2. This game looks awesome, though. It's such a different take on the genre. I think this is a cool announcement, cool thing to be coming. Love this. And then we moved into games that are both on Switch 2 and Switch 1, starting with Tokyo Scramble. Let's talk about Tokyo Scramble, because first off, that seemed like a really ill-fitting title for such a like serious-seeming horror game. That makes me think that it would be like a weird party puzzle game, but no, this is a horror game. And it looks really fucking interesting. Like, there was the whole concept of a whole underground city infested with dinosaurs. Admittedly, when it started, it seemed a little bit like they were trying to cash in on the Resident Evil hype, but as the trailer went on, this game looks kind of awesome. Like, I actually am really excited to play this one if it is just a horror game. My one concern with it is that it might be not just a normal horror game, because when it went into detail about how game share would be used, it said that you would every person would control a different action done by the main character. And that's a really fun concept for like a side mode. But then the trailer said either in person or online, which makes me worried that this entire game is gonna be based around this concept of everyone controls one movement. And I really hope that's not the case, because it looks like a really fun horror game. But judging by the like weird party game name, I think that might end up being the case. Valheim or Helheim or whatever it was called, it looks fine, but I'm definitely not gonna pick this one up. I feel like these like kind of Breath of the Wildy, kind of Minecrafty survival games are a dime a dozen. And I'm just not very interested in this one. It doesn't look super unique. I'm sure that they'll find an audience and they'll really enjoy it. It seems cool that you can have like up to 10 players, but I'm definitely not playing this one, honestly. I have very little interest in it. We also got the Switch 2 edition of Hollow Knight announced, which is a very welcome surprise. I didn't really expect it, but it makes a ton of sense because it's just, you know, putting the game at a higher frame rate and a higher resolution. And it's going up later today. I bet by the time this video's up, it's out. And it's a free upgrade pass, which like probably means it's not a major one, but also is just very nice. So yeah, the super welcome surprise, Hollow Knight for Switch 2. That's great. We also got Kickoff, which is just like a basic football game. But it felt so lame after we saw Captain Tsubasa. Like, it went from this super anime over-the-top soccer game. I just called it a football game. It's soccer. I'm fucking American. I saw the little title on the thing say football. It's fucking soccer. Fuck you. But yeah, it seems fine if this is the kind of game you're into. It's just so lame after seeing the super over-the-top anime Captain Tsubasa. The Adventures of Elliot the Millennium Tales seems like a kind of standard JRPG, but it's using the really beautiful 2.5D aesthetic that we've been seeing a lot with like Octopath Traveler. Though I kind of like this game, it's a little bit more simplified, so it's not as in your face. Because I feel like all these games start to kind of look alike. I like that this one, while it's doing the 2.5D style, it has a kind of more geometrical, video gamey 3D world. It's not trying to be this ultra-realistic one, which I thought was cool. And I thought, honestly, all the details on it sound pretty cool. I like JRPGs. I want to play more. But I found also the name Adventures of Elliot really dumb. Well, not dumb, but just like, Elliot's just a name, dog. Like, it feels almost like naming it like The Adventures of Dave. And then the fucking, like, it already has the subtitle, The Millennium Tales. It could have just been called Millennium Tales, but they had The Adventures of Elliot. Elliot is just a name. So yeah, I thought that was funny. We also got the Super Bomberman collection, which, you know, I don't personally care that much about, but I think it's really cool that, you know, for Bomberman fans, we're getting this Bomberman collection. It's nice to see him getting some love, especially since they seem like they really did a lot with it. They had Game Share, they had a Boss Rush, they had the Famicom games. Like, I'm sure Bomberman fans will really get a lot out of the Super Bomberman collection, and it's up later today, so, like, I thought that was a really pleasant reveal. I was happy to see that, even if, again, it's not super my thing. I haven't really played much Bomberman. I was glad to see it. So, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm definitely not surprised to see it. We heard a lot of rumors that Final Fantasy was coming. I find it really weird. Everyone was saying that Final Fantasy VII Intergrade would be coming, and no one was talking about Rebirth, and I don't know why they would just skip Rebirth. I feel like obviously they're making the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy available. But I think it's nice that's finally coming. We heard a lot of reports that these games would be. And, you know, I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy VII remakes or the original Final Fantasy VII. If I was gonna play the remakes, I'm probably plan to, but I'm not probably gonna play them on Switch or Switch 2, because I feel like, you know, I've heard questionable things about how they run, but, you know, I have trust that this game will be a pretty good port, and that Final Fantasy fans will probably be happy. And that leads into Pragmatica. They mentioned that the main character was called Hugh Williams, and in my mind, I was just like, Hugh Morris from the Tomodachi Life Direct? Is this a Hugh Morris game? It's a stupid joke. I thought the child in this trailer looked fucking creepy as shit. Like, I won't lie, Diana, I think was her name, fucking horrifying looking, so uncanny. And also, but like, if I'm being honest, the gameplay didn't seem like a shit ton of fun. Like, it didn't look terrible, like it looked kind of fun, but the hacking mechanic seemed like annoying more than anything else. And besides that, it just seemed like a basic, like third-person shooter. So I'm, if I hear good things, I might play it, but this trailer really did not sell me on it. But there's this moment where the main guy grabs the little girl's hand, and it's so violent. It's supposed to be sweet, but so violent. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Pragmatica yet. We'll have to wait and see. Turok Origins is another one where I'll just have to wait and see to see if it's any good. The trailer just kind of made it look like Horizon Zero Dawn again, but I think that it has a lot of potential. Because the Horizon games, I haven't played them very much, but they're fun. But also, Turok is a retro revival series. This game is like a retro game, right? Or am I going crazy? Because I feel like I recognize the name, but I know nothing about it. So please let me know if I'm going crazy or if Turok is like an ongoing series. But yeah, this game seems fine. Kyoto Xanadu was confusing, because this game was not at all what I thought it was going to be. Because, like, based off the few opening minutes, we see all these dramatic cutscenes, we see this kind of anime-inspired art style. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be an RPG. It felt kind of like a Atlas RPG. Yeah, an Atlas RPG, like Persona, with, like, the school setting. I figured this would be a turn-based RPG. And then we see that it's apparently a 2D platformer, which took me super off guard. Not at all what I expected, but okay, that's interesting. What the fuck is this about? But then, a little bit later, we see it has like a 3D boss fight. So it's an action RPG? I really don't know what this game is, and that makes me want to play it 10 times more, because I really have no idea what this is about. Seems like there's a life component sim, a 2D platform, a 3D It really looks like insane, and I'm excited for it for that reason, to just figure out what the fuck this is. Yeah. You managed to win me over, Kyoto Xanadu, by just being so fucking confusing. What the fuck are you? I'm just gonna skip past Digimon, because I really don't have many opinions on Digimon as a property. I don't know anything about it. I hope that Digimon fans like this game, but for me it's really just like, okay, sounds good. It looks nice. I'll give it that. It looks very nice. But yeah, I really don't know shit about Digimon. And then it's a very similar situation with Grand Blue. I don't know anything about the Grand Blue series. I recognize the name, but I don't know anything about the series, so I'm just gonna like, hopefully it's cool. I hope that the fans of the series like it. It looks nice. But yeah, I really know nothing about Grand Blue either. What I know slightly more about is Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Stories 3. I haven't played any of the Monster Hunter Stories games, but I have played a little bit of Monster Hunter Rise. That's a really fun game. I like seeing the monsters from that game that I recognize in this one. I think it looks pretty cool. I might check it out. I say that, good chance I won't. But like, it looks nice. It looks like a nice RPG. I like the Monster Hunter franchise. And again, the graphics look nice. On this, what I was most surprised about in this Potent Direct is how damn good every game looked. Like, it seems like all the games come to Switch, they really have figured out how to make Switch 2 graphics look, and especially with this, like, cel-shaded, anime-inspired art style. A lot of the games had it, and it just looked great every single time. But speaking of less graphically impressive games, the Arcade Archives, and now Console Archives. I didn't realize that Arcade Archives was only arcade games, but it's cool that they're now branching out, getting some old console games, and it's, I love re-releases. I love these games being more accessible. So yeah, none of them particularly jumped out at me for any reason, but I think it's really cool that we're getting these. I think it's, just great for video game preservation. That then led into the sizzle reel, which we get on all directs, just a sizzle reel of quick games I didn't have more time on. Now, these particularly jumped out at me, except for a Switch 2 version of fucking Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Why has this game received so much attention? What about Disney's Dreamlight Valley is so appealing to people? I don't understand. It's getting a Switch 2 version now? It's motherfucking Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Why why does this game get so much attention? Should I play it? Is it good? Should I play Disney's Dreamlight Valley? Yeah, so that was the only thing that jumped out at me about this fucking sizzle reel. But after that, we of course got the big one, Resident Evil Requiem. I feel like I've said a lot in this video that, oh, I don't know much about this series. I fucking love Resident Evil. Resident Evil is an easy top 10, if not top 5 series for me. So I'm very excited for this game. And this trailer just made me more excited. The fact that you can switch between first and third person is so welcome. I don't even know which one I'm gonna play in because it's like, on the one hand, I love Resident Evil 7's first person mode, but in general, I prefer third person games, but this is a horror game, so maybe like first person more. And I think it's awesome that's coming out date and date with fucking the Nintendo Switch and all the other consoles. I'll say, I love Resident Evil, so and I feel like good graphics, especially recently, has been something that the games have been really relying on for sales. So I'm not positive I will play this on Switch 2. I might prefer to play this on PC. But moving on from that, I mean, come on, we all know what it is. Leon Kennedy is back for Resident Evil 9. Did we know that was gonna happen? Because that is so huge. I feel like they waited so long to tell us that, and it's just so, like, holy shit, he's back. we haven't seen him in several games, and so it's like, we thought he might be, like, I always had a suspicion, like, they're not just gonna rely on this new character. And, oh, he's back, and he looks like he just, like, he played in Resident Evil 4, where it's like, he'll be the over-the-top action hero, and she'll be the horror. Like, I'm so fucking excited for this game. I think it's gonna be one of the best games in the series. I'm super excited to see this. I can't wait for this game. Resident Evil Requiem. It's so soon too. And we're also getting amiibo. We're getting a Leon Kennedy amiibo. Leon Kennedy for a while has been the character I've won most in Smash, honestly. So, I mean, this game was the big hype for me, even though we've had it announced for a while. I couldn't be more excited for Resident Evil Requiem. This just, like, sold me on it completely. This was awesome. And then we ended the direct on some Bethesda games. Okay, I think it's, you know, I actually don't love any Bethesda games, but it's nice that we're finally getting Fallout 4 on Switch. It feels a little bit overdue. We're getting Oblivion remake on Switch. Makes sense, that game came out recently. And then we're also getting Indiana Jones, which I think is probably the one of those games that I find most interesting. I'm not a huge Bethesda fan, but I'm definitely very glad for people who are big Bethesda fans that they are getting these games on Switch. They'll get to play them portably. And, you know, Bethesda's popular, so it makes sense. And even Indiana Jones, I haven't played, but, like, seems like I'm planning on checking it out. I don't know if I'll want to play it on Switch because, you know, it's another one of those games where it's like, you know, some games being on Switch actually makes me want to play it more. That's kind of how I am with Fallout. I'm like, I'm not super interested, but the fact it's on Switch makes me want to play it more. With Indiana Jones, I already kind of want to play it, so I'm less inclined to get it on Switch. But it's not a game key code, it's all on the cartridge, which also makes it more appealing. So, you know, good reveals. Bad way to end the direct. Sorry. This could have been a really good direct if it just had one more reveal. I feel like everything about it was working, but we just needed something to end it off with more of a bang. Like, fucking, even just like a new Phoenix Wright, that would have been a big reveal. And so it feels like the ended kinda lame. Like, the Bethesda things are cool. Fucking, even if they just put the Bethesda things a little before the Resident Evil stuff, it would have been fine. But this felt like a really lame note to end the direct on. But also, I've been seeing a lot of, like, sadness, or more accurately, like, worry around the fact that Nintendo has been releasing a lot of information like the Animal Crossing Direct, the Pocono Showcase, a bunch of new Switch 2 editions and trailers on Nintendo Today, and yet we don't have a new Nintendo Direct actually announced. And so people would, like, does Nintendo have reveals for this year? Because this year's kind of light in games. We kind of need more than that we have right now. And I'm also a little bit concerned about that. I'm also like, Nintendo, we really gotta get more games this year if you want to succeed. But here's what my hope is. This is me shining a bit of hope. I'm hoping that they know they a little bit don't have a good enough year yet, and they don't quite have the hype they need right now. And so they are holding back their biggest reveals so they can do one really massive direct in March, April, like more mid-year direct with like all the most big reveals, like the fucking new 3D Mario, new teaser of new Zelda. Like, I'm hoping they're just holding off so they can have one big hype building direct that's like the fucking 2017 one that we all know and love, instead of like 2 lame-o directs that we'd get most years. That's my hope. That's not necessarily substantiated, but I'm really hoping Nintendo has more this year. Because as it was, I think I've seen some people being really harsh on this Pocono Showcase. I think it's fine. Yes, it's a lot of ports, but it's also cool to be getting these ports. And fucking, like, there's a lot of cool stuff shown. Like, I think Orbitals and Leon Kennedy was enough for a good Pocono Showcase. I remember when the Pocono Showcases first started in, like, 2020, and they showed nothing. They would show off, like, dumbass wrestling games. So it's already a lot better than those. I don't think it was bad, but I think it was just okay. And I'm really hoping that we get a more substantial direct soon. Yeah, and I guess that's all I had to say. This video is just kind of a recap of the most interesting points, but I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Let me know how you feel about this direct in the comments below, and yeah, peace.